Welcome to Consumer Science News and Notes, an informative program from experts on your health, home, family, food, and finances. Did you know it's best for babies to sleep on their backs? That today's farm-raised duck has a mild flavor that suits all sorts of delicious dishes? Or that it's now possible to get top-quality specialty coffee for the office coffee machine? Consumer Science News and Notes will explain these interesting facts and offer useful and intriguing information. During the program, we will let you know about websites you can visit for useful data and ideas. We'll also tell you where to send for free brochures and information packets. To protect your home and family from fire, there's a new device that listens for your smoke and carbon monoxide alarms and notifies your smartphone if they sound. The Leo Smart Alert is easy to set up with the free app. Simply plug it in. You can add contact information for friends, family, or neighbors. If there's an alarm in your home and you don't immediately reply, it will contact your preset emergency list until someone responds. It even has a nightlight with colors you can customize. Available at bestbuy.com, amazon.com, and leeo.com.
Well, it's just a start. We have a lot of decorating to do to make it just right.
It's perfect. And you already have the crib.
Mom, this is important. You've heard of SIDS, right?
Oh, yes. That's when a baby dies unexpectedly during sleep, and doctors can't find an explanation.
Right. Sudden infant death syndrome. At our birthing classes, we learned there are a lot of different things we need to do to reduce the risk of SIDS and other sleep-related causes of infant death.
For more information, please visit the Safe to Sleep website.
I don't know what I would do without my family, that's for sure. There's no way I could have gone through it all. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I love you.
He's amazing.
He is. This is my life. This is the reason I do what I do. Right? You wiping Gigi's tears. Oh. My son is why. My family is why. Life is why.
Duck. These days, this tasty bird is appearing in salads, sandwiches, pasta, pizza, and much more. One reason is it's now easier to find farm-raised duck with a tender, mild flavor that's not gamey. In fact, duck has a delicious red meat taste that's more similar to steak than to chicken or turkey and substitutes equally for either in recipes. Another may be you don't have to sacrifice flavor to make a healthy choice. Duck fat has similar health benefits to olive oil. And duck breast has about as many calories as skinless chicken or turkey breast, but with a rich, bold flavor. To eliminate up to 70% of the fat while crisping the skin and adding to the distinct flavor of the meat, simply score and sear the duck breast before finishing it on the grill or in the oven. Plus, you can now get a selection of duck products from raw duck breast and whole duck to fully cooked heat and serve duck legs and appetizers from Maple Leaf Farms. For more information, recipes, and cooking suggestions, visit mapleleaffarms.com. You may find these coffee statistics real eye-openers. For example, more than 1 in 4 homes in America has a single-cup brewer, up from only 1 in 10 homes as recently as 2012. Next, the younger you are, the more likely you are to have a cup of coffee away from home. However, you may make it there. Nearly half of the 18 to 39-year-old set enjoys their cup of joe on the go. When it comes to at-home coffee, the 40 and older crowd prevails. Finally, you may be glad to learn that you can get great-tasting coffee at your workplace. That's because the top-quality traditional and specialty coffees of the Community Coffee Company are available for the office coffee area. 56% of work coffee drinkers are very satisfied with their coffee area, but that leaves a large percentage envisioning something better. You can learn more, including where to find 100% select Arabica coffee, at communitycoffee.com.
In 2015, the number of identity fraud victims increased by 3% to 13.1 million. but encouragingly, the amount stolen by fraudsters decreased by 6% to $15 billion, according to Javelin's 2016 identity fraud study. Identity fraud remains a serious issue as fraudsters have stolen $112 billion in the past 6 years. There are 3 aspects for consumers to mitigate fraud. The first is prevention. Keep data secure whether online or at home. The second is detection, taking advantage of alerts and notifications where available. Third, there's resolution. If you get a data breach notification, take it seriously. Javelin's independent research and education project is made possible with the support of LifeLock. Javelin maintains complete independence in its data collection, findings, and analysis. For more tips on protecting your identity, visit these websites.
Pell Grants, Federal Work Study, Guaranteed Student Plus loans, and National Direct Student Loans can all make life easier for college students. Before a young man can get them, however, he needs to register with the Selective Service. That's also required for training and jobs with the federal government, even summer jobs. Fortunately, registration can be easy. Check the box on the FAFSA application, get a form at the post office, get help from a high school registrar, or go to sss.gov/home/registration. 10,000 Americans are retiring every day, but confidence in a secure retirement is declining. According to the Insured Retirement Institute, many Americans will need to retire later or make steep cutbacks to make ends meet in retirement. Fortunately, developing a comprehensive plan can set you toward a secure future. With National Retirement Planning Week nearing, now is a good time to get started. To help, free resources are available at retireonyourterms.org or consult a financial advisor who can develop a plan for you.
The best investment we can make is in the lives of our children. At Save the Children, we do whatever it takes to ensure that every day, children in need grow up healthy and educated, are protected in times of crisis, and reach their full potential, transforming the future we all share. Join us at SaveTheChildren.org. Invest in childhood today for a brighter tomorrow.
Federal law requires that male U.S. citizens and immigrants register with the Selective Service system within 30 days of their 18th birthday. Male immigrants that arrive after their 18th birthday are required to register up to the age of 26. Registration brings many benefits, including maintaining eligibility for government student aid loans and qualifying for government jobs and job training programs and U.S. citizenship for immigrants. Young men can register online at www.sss.gov, where more information is also available. Following 5 simple steps can help you make sure your next do-it-yourself project doesn't end up doing something to yourself you'd rather not. First, always follow instructions. Before starting any project, carefully read the instruction manual of any tool you'll use. Check blueprints and wiring diagrams. Next, dress for the job. Always wear protective clothing, safety goggles, gloves, and a dust mask when working with potentially hazardous materials. Don't wear jewelry or loose clothing while using power tools. Be sure to keep a first aid kit handy. Get one that's easily portable and can be opened quickly. Never leave a project unattended. Don't leave tools or materials around when you're not around. If a child or pet should find power tools or paint on a ladder, a problem could result. Know your limits. If the project involves electricity, say, or a lot of remodeling, it may be best left to the pros. A less than top quality job could just end up costing you more later. You want your do-it-yourself project to be something you can point to with pride while protecting your pocket. While the teen years are a time of many physical, mental, emotional, and social changes, there are some things parents can do to help their children through them, suggest the experts at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. First and foremost, they say, you should be honest and direct with your teens, especially when talking about sensitive subjects such as drugs, drinking, smoking, and sex. Do your best to meet and get to know all your teen's friends. Show an interest in your teen's school life. Help your teen make healthy choices while encouraging him to make his own decisions. Respect your teen's opinions and take into account her thoughts and feelings. It's important that she knows you're listening to her. When conflicts arise, and they almost inevitably will, be clear about goals and expectations, such as getting good grades, keeping things clean, and showing respect. At the same time, you should allow your teen input on how to reach those goals. For instance, when and how to study or to clean. You can find further parenting advice online at cdc.gov. Researchers around the world may have been putting in a few all-nighters because they seem to agree that drinking coffee is generally good for you. For example, at the University of Wales, controlled trials found that coffee improves memory, mood, vigilance, reaction times, and general brain function. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition said caffeine can boost the metabolic rate by 3 to 11%, and one in the American Journal of Physiology found caffeine can specifically increase the body's rate of fat burning by some 15%. The European Journal of Neurology said coffee drinkers may have a much lower risk of getting Alzheimer's disease, while a Harvard study found women who drank 4 or more cups of coffee a day were 20% less likely to be depressed. Finally, no amount of coffee will let you live forever, but according to the Annals of Internal Medicine, it was associated with a 20 to 26% lower risk of death at any time in the next 20 years. So join all those distinguished scientists, brew up a cup, and drink to your health. If you're among the 1 in 3 Americans with high blood pressure, knowing a few facts can help you keep from letting it get you down. For example, while high blood pressure increases your risk for heart disease and stroke, you can control it. First, you need to know about it. Since high blood pressure often has no symptoms, it's important to check it regularly. Blood pressure is measured using 2 numbers, systolic, the pressure when your heart beats, and diastolic, the pressure between beats. A reading of less than 120/80 is considered normal. One of more than 140/90 is considered a problem. If yours is high, your doctor may suggest certain lifestyle changes, such as eat a healthy diet low in salt and fat and high in fresh fruits and vegetables. Be active. Try taking a brisk 10-minute walk 3 times a day, 5 days a week. Don't smoke. If you do smoke, quit as soon as possible. You can learn more from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention at cdc.gov. Here's an electrifying thought. Reducing energy use in your home saves you money, increases the nation's energy security, and reduces pollution. Here are some hints on how to go about it from the experts at the U.S. Department of Energy. First, when getting new appliances and electronics, be sure they're energy efficient. The way to tell is to look for the Energy Star logo on the product before you buy. When you get the item home, use it wisely too. For example, unplug electronic devices when they're not in use, and run the dishwasher or the washing machine only when it's full. Let the sun shine in. The more daylight that comes in through energy-efficient windows and skylights, the less electric lighting you'll need. When you do turn on the lights, be sure they have energy-efficient LED or fluorescent bulbs. Properly insulate and air seal your home so heated or cooled air doesn't escape, and your thermostat can be kept in an energy-efficient range. You can find much more energy-saving advice online at energy.gov. You can help your child beat bullying. First, you and your child should know he or she is not alone. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 1 in 5 kids is bullied at school and 16% are bullied electronically. Next, consider these ideas for dealing with the problem. For one thing, try to get your child to develop his talents and positive attributes, music, athletics, art, so he can be more confident. Next, teach your child safety strategies, such as to seek help from an adult when feeling threatened by a bully. Talk about whom she should go to for help and role-play what she should say. Assure your child that reporting bullying is not the same as being a snitch. Help your child meet new friends in and outside of school. A new environment may provide a fresh start. Finally, make sure your child has a safe and loving home environment where he can take shelter, physically and emotionally, and always maintain open lines of communication with your child. More helpful advice can be found online at cdc.gov. When children have homework, it's time for parents to get busy. Not doing it for them, but letting them do it properly themselves. Here, from the experts at the U.S. Department of Education, are some ways to help. Have a special place for your child to study. It doesn't have to be fancy. A desk in the bedroom is nice, but for many children, the kitchen table or a corner of the living room works just fine. The area should have good lighting, and it should be fairly quiet. Provide supplies and identify resources. For starters, have available pencils, pens, erasers, writing paper, and a dictionary. If possible, keep these items together in one place. Set a regular time for homework. Having a regular time to do homework helps children to finish assignments. Work with the child to develop a schedule. Write it out and post it where you'll both see it often, such as on the refrigerator. Remove distractions and discourage phone calls during homework time. Learn more at the2.ed.gov/parents. If you're married or living together and looking for a better way to handle household chores, here are some tips. For starters, make sure any arguments you're having about housework are actually about housework. If they stem from other issues, then it's important to address those issues. Next, when you share a house, you need a shared idea of clean and tidy. Make sure you're working from the same definition. The same thing goes for priorities. Let each other know what you think the most important jobs around the house are. If both work from the same priorities, it will be easier to maintain a household you're both happy living in. Don't tell your partner how a task should be done. If you agree to split chores, try not to interfere with how your partner is doing his or her share. Finally, you may discover that there are certain tasks neither of you want to tackle, ever. Rather than fight over them or leave them undone, you may want to consider bringing in a professional service. It may end up as money well spent. If you have diabetes, it's important to remember that monitoring matters. That's the word from experts at the Mayo Clinic. They believe blood sugar testing, or self-monitoring blood glucose, can provide useful information for diabetes management. For instance, it can help you judge how well you're reaching overall treatment goals and understand how diet and exercise affect blood sugar levels, and how other factors such as illness or stress affect the same levels. The American Diabetes Association, the ADA, recommends that you routinely test blood sugar levels as an effective part of any self-care program. For people using insulin, it recommends testing 3 or more times a day. If you take another kind of medication, test your blood sugar level as often as your healthcare team recommends. Keeping a logbook is a good way to keep track of routine testing results. In addition to daily testing, taking the A1C blood test can also be useful. This blood test measures the average blood sugar level over the last 3 months. It's usually performed 2 to 4 times a year. To learn more, visit diabetes.org. If you use public transportation for your commute to work, following these tips can mean increased convenience and safety. For starters, plan your route ahead of time. If you're new to public transportation, the bus or train schedule can be confusing at first. Planning ahead of time will increase your confidence that you know where you're going and how to get there. When your train arrives, do not run for it, and watch your step when boarding or exiting a subway train. There is often a gap between the edge of the subway platform and the train door. It's also in your interest to listen for public announcements and follow the directions provided. Never attempt to board a subway train once the doors begin to close. And do stand to one side to let people exit the subway car before you board. Stay alert and hold on to railings when a bus or train is slowing down or turning. Keep your purse, shopping bag, or other belongings in your lap, on your arm, or between your feet. Do not leave them on an empty seat that could be used by another rider. Here are some tips that can be the right prescription for taking medicine safely and helping the medicine have its desired effect. Start by asking your doctor, pharmacist, or other healthcare professional about the right way to take any medicine before you begin to use it. Always find out if it should be taken as needed or on a schedule, and whether or not it should be taken at a particular time of day. You should also find out if you need to take the medicine with food and whether or not you can drink alcohol while taking it. Don't forget to ask the doctor how long you will have to take the medicine and how you will feel once you start taking it. You should also find out what to do in the event you forget to take the medication. Sometimes, even medication that is meant to be beneficial can have side effects. Find out if that is the case with anything you're taking and what the effects might be. And make sure your doctor knows about any medications and supplements you're taking on a regular basis, since they may make the medicine less effective. When a telemarketer calls with a charity or product pitch that sounds like a worthy or needy cause, you need to be a wise consumer. To help, here are some tips courtesy of Judd McIlvain's Troubleshooter website. Always ask the caller for written information on the product or the charity before you donate. Scammers and crooks will not send you written material. Also, be on the lookout for similar-sounding charity names or companies. Some scam artists will use a name that sounds very much like the name of a well-known charity. Never give the caller your personal financial information, such as your checking or bank account number or credit card number. Also, do not give out your social security number, your driver's license number, or your address and phone number. Information such as this can be used to run up major bills on your credit card and even open accounts in your name. If you do decide to make a donation, it is safer to mail a money order, so scam artists do not have access to your check and bank numbers. Until the next time, we hope these ideas for your health, your safety, and your finances make your day a little better and a lot more fun. Here are some interesting and entertaining oddities about bones. The smallest bone in the human body is the stapes or stirrup bone, located in the middle ear. It is approximately 1/10 of an inch long. Shaped like a stirrup on a saddle, it transmits sound vibrations through the hearing system. The femur bone, the thigh bone, is thought to be the biggest and strongest bone in the body and is said to be stronger than concrete. It is capable of lifting or supporting 30 times its own volume and weight. Humans have somewhere around 300 to 350 bones at birth. Over time, the number reduces to 206, with more than half of them located just in the hands and feet. By the age of 20, the average young person has acquired roughly 98% of his or her skeletal mass. Bones consist of around 50% water and 50% solid matter. They are hard, strong, and very much alive like muscle tissue. They also have tons of living cells which help them grow and repair themselves. If bones weren't made of living cells, things like broken toes or arms would never mend. Bone marrow, which is found in the hollow of bones, helps to produce new red and white blood cells. It is considered the factory for the blood constituents. Our ribs move every time we breathe, about 5 million times a year. When there's not enough calcium in the bloodstream, the body attempts to pull calcium from the bones, which thins and weakens them. This causes osteoporosis, which leads to breaks and fractures. The long and the short of it is this: humans and giraffes have the same number of bones in their necks, 8. Giraffe neck vertebrae are just much, much longer. Bones give points of attachment for the muscles so that they may serve as levers and make movement possible. Your tailbone is called the coccyx. When broken or fractured, a bone can actually repair itself. Casts help mending bones grow in the right direction. Doctors describe fractures in the following ways. A complete fracture is when the bone has broken into 2 pieces. A green stick fracture is when the bone cracks on one side only, not all the way through. A single fracture is when the bone is broken in one place. A comminuted fracture is when the bone is broken into more than 2 pieces or crushed. A bowing fracture, which only happens in kids, is when the bone bends but doesn't break. An open fracture is when the bone is sticking through the skin. While they may feel like rocks, bones are actually living things. In fact, one group of cells, called osteoblasts, are constantly churning out new bone, while a second set, called osteoclasts, destroys bone by gobbling it up. The constant tug-of-war between creation and destruction is called bone remodeling. It's the reason bones regenerate after a break, grow rapidly during youth, and unfortunately, decline later in life when the balance tips towards destruction. Playing sports, lifting weights, running, and almost any activity that moves muscle will trigger your bones to lay down more minerals and get stronger and more dense. The human body possesses 12 pairs of ribs, and if a rib is removed, within 3 months a new rib may be regenerated. The spine is made up of 20 small bones, and there is a hole in each bone for the spinal cord to pass through it. Our pelvis, or hip bone, is made up of 6 bones joined together, giving it a shape of a bowl. The part of the legs below the knee is made up of 2 bones, tibia and fibula. We hope you've enjoyed these interesting and entertaining oddities about bones.